Hello dear students, welcome to the English class of Studyzest, the world of educational solutions. Today I will be taking up the poem The Road Not Taken by the famous American poet Robert Frost, and I will give you an introduction into the poetry, into the life of the poet, and also we will little by little get to know the poem before we actually get and delve into the poem. But before moving on with today's class, I would like to remind you as usual of the social media platforms through which you can connect with us. Do subscribe to our YouTube channel and press the bell icon so that you can get notified whenever a new video comes up. Like us on Facebook page to get daily updated study related materials. Join our Telegram channel and you can find us there using this link provided here. Follow us on Instagram. Join our WhatsApp group using this number given here. And also you can, for more information, log into the website www.studyzest.in. As you can see here, our YouTube channel looks like this. Do subscribe to our YouTube channel for more study related videos. And our Facebook page looks like this. Like us on Facebook and show us some love, and you will be updated with study related materials and notes on a regular basis. Now, as I always say that before going into the text itself, we must know certain things that surround the poem, okay? Because any composition of literature comes from the mind of the poet. Why? Because there has been some incident, maybe the poet has been the part of that incident, or maybe the poet has seen something. So anything that has inspired the poet has been the matter, the subject of his poetry writing, okay? So before we delve into a quite philosophical poem like Road Not Taken, we must know about the poet himself, that is Robert Frost, okay? Now Robert Frost here, he was born in 1874 and he died on 1963. He was born in San Francisco, that is where? America, US, okay? He spent most of his adult life in rural New England. Rural New England, that means a village, a countryside area, okay? He made attempts to write poetry while working on a farm or teaching in a school. So even if he tried teaching jobs or even farming, he always had a heart of a poet. He always wanted to write, okay? In 1913, his first book was published. Gradually, he became one of the country's best loved poets. So Robert Frost still now is considered one of the best loved poets universally. You know, globally it is considered that Robert Frost is understandable by all. So many poets have written poetry, right? But Robert Frost's uniqueness lies in the factor that he was very relatable. Okay, whatever he wrote, he was relatable. He wrote about familiar subjects. He wrote about nature. Okay, he wrote about common things. So these are the aspects that makes him so lovable as a poet. So you can say that from a kid to to a teenager, to a grown-up adult person, anyone can enjoy his poetry. Such simplicity was the main feature of his poems. Okay, he employed traditional patterns to write poems. He chose the old-fashioned way to be new. That means what? That means he structurally went with the traditional form of poetry, but mostly he kept his poems simple. Okay, and his well-known poems are Stopping by Woods on a Snowy Evening, Mending Wall, The Road Not Taken, etc. These are his most read poems. Okay, now moving on, as you can see, before we start the poetry, I have given you here a picture. Okay, this is normally known as a fork. Fork means what? A road that diverges into two different directions. ठीक है, एक रास्ता जो है वो एक जगह पे आके डिवाइड हो जा रहा है दो में. ठीक है, left and right. Okay, now Robert Frost's The Road Not Taken was published in 1916 in the book Mountain Interval. Right, Mountain Interval जो book था उसमें ये poem first publish हुआ था. And know this word fork, it means the point where a road gets divided into two different directions. Now, first we have to know what this poem is. So let us get to know the poem a little better before we read the text. So as the introduction of the poem, I would like to mention certain points here. That The Road Not Taken is an autobiographical poem. Autobiographical means you can say it has personal touches. Okay, once the poet came across a junction when his path diverged into two and he had to take a decision of which road to take. Okay, so this is a very important thing to the poet about which he wrote this poem. It actually happened to him. As I said that he used to live in countryside and which was filled with forests and woods. So one day he was walking and he came to a path which divided itself into two ways. Okay, and he stood there for a long time and gave a serious thought to each road. Okay, so he didn't know at that point that where these roads will lead him to. So he stood there and he kept on thinking कि कौन सा रास्ता चुनना है मुझे, ठीक है, which road should I choose. Then he decided to take the road which was less traveled. This is very important. So after thinking for several minutes, he chose the road, the path that was less traveled. Here there is a very important hidden meaning. That means normally what we do, we see these two paths in front of us and we normally try to follow the path which is followed by most people. Okay, but here the poet does the opposite thing. Here he chooses the less trodden path. Okay, the reason for this was that it was grassy, and as far as the condition of the road was concerned, both the roads were equally worn. That means there was a point of time that both of these roads were used, both of these paths were used. But at the moment that poet was standing there, the path was grassy. तो पोइट को ऐसा लगा कि ये जो ग्रासी पाथ है यही ज़्यादा एडवेंचरस होगा मेरे लिए. ओके, सो ही डिसाइडेड टू गो ऑन इट. He decided to keep the other road for some other time, though he knew that he might not be able to go back to the road. So he thought that मैं फिर से वापस आऊँगा इसी जगह पे. I will come back to this point only, and then I will take the other path. Although he knew that this possibility might never happen. But you know, poetic imagination is immense, it is vast. So that's why the poet for that time, उसने अपने आप को दिलासा दिया कि चलो मैं इस पाथ से गुजरता हूँ जिससे बहुत सारे लोग नहीं जाते हैं, and the other path I will keep it for the future.